Hi, this is Chris. You know, when you're in business for yourself, one of the most critical things you can do is manage your time. There's all sorts of distractions, all sorts of things that come up that keep us from focusing on the task at hand, which is one reason it's so very critical to have written goals, to decide what it is that you need to accomplish. Towards the end of last week, I decided my wife and I needed a smartphone. Now, we've been existing just fine with a cell phone, but it wasn't a smartphone. Really didn't see the need for the smartphone. I could access, obviously make phone calls, send text messages, had some rudimentary apps, but I really didn't see the need for that smartphone. But yet we decided to go and look at smartphones, and we spent several hours on Friday looking at smartphones, picking out the right smartphone, or so what we thought, as a smartphone. Now none of this was on my plan for the day, none of this was on my goals for the day to spend that much time on. Bought the smartphones, came home, and spent quite a bit of time fascinated by the amount of information, the amount of tasks, the amount of applications that are out there that can help with business productivity. They can also help with entertainment, with games, with all sorts of things. And ultimately this will be a great time management tool for you. But what I found was that I spent almost all of Friday and a good part of this weekend playing with my smartphone, looking at the various apps that were out there, looking at things that I could do to ultimately help me be more proficient, help me to be more efficient. But the point is, it really wasted my time playing with my smartphone. I was working on things that were not important, nor were they urgent in the scope of my business. And that's what I want to talk about today, is time management and how we focus on the things that are important, how we focus on things that are urgent, or maybe we focus on things that are not important and not urgent. Dwight Eisenhower, one of the greatest military generals this country has ever seen, as well as one of the great presidents of the United States, said that we focus actually his quote was, "What is important is seldom urgent, and what is urgent is seldom important." Now, Stephen Covey took that premise years later in the 90s and turned that into what's called the urgent important matrix, and that's kind of what I want to talk about today. If we look at the matrix, we'll see that we've got urgent issues over here on the bottom on the x-axis, and we've got importance on the y-axis. And we divide the quadrant or the matrix into 4 quadrants. And as we get increasingly important or increasingly urgent, we see that we have activities over here that are high importance but low urgency. High importance, low urgency. Here we have those that are low importance and low urgence, high importance, high urgence, and high urgence, low importance. Now, what are those things that are urgent? Well, urgent things are those things that require your attention, that require my attention, that require us to stop what we're doing and take action. Important things are those things that actually move us forward, that we have decided are important in our business, that are important in the scheme of how we operate. They're our goals. They're the things we want to accomplish. Where should we spend the majority of our time? And where do we spend the majority of our time? Well, this weekend, I was distracted and I spent my time in this quadrant, dealing with some things that were low importance and low urgent. And those are those things that can also be called distractions. Those are those things that can be time wasters, things that could be delegated to other people, or that should be done when we have a spare moment as opposed to focusing our concentrated attention on them. This is where I spent my weekend, low importance, low urgence, not by design, but just by distraction. Where should we spend our time? on those things that are highly important to us but not that urgent. Meaning we've planned well and we've delegated out our time, delegated out our tasks to other people, and we're focusing on those things that are highly important. The fact that they're low urgent means we haven't been caught in a time crunch. We're able to focus on those things that are highly important to us. Now sometimes things come up that are highly urgent. That's often caused by outside influences, a supplier calls, a customer calls. An opportunity arises to do something that wasn't on your goal list. It's highly urgent, but it may not be that important in the big scheme of things. It may not be over here in your high importance, but it is an activity that's urgent. So you have to delegate time to this. You have to allocate resources to this. And when you're focusing on these things, you're not able to focus on this, because we can't do multiple things at one time unless we have multiple people helping us, unless we're leveraging other people's time. What about things over here in this quadrant? They're highly important and highly urgent. I look at those things as those things that you've had on your goal list that you put off. You procrastinated, you put off, and now the deadline is near. They were highly important before. They were over here in low urgence. You had time to work on them. We tend to put things off sometimes because we don't attribute the proper high importance to them. We know in our mind they are, but we haven't written it out on our goal sheet. We don't realize the importance of it, so we put it off and put it off until it becomes urgent. I'm working on a project that I have a deadline on coming up in 2 weeks. Now, it's something I've known about for several months, and I've worked on it a little here and a little there, but I haven't really allocated a lot of importance to it, nor have I allocated a lot of time to it. Now, it was always highly important to me, and it was low urgence, but now it's moved over here into high importance, high urgence, and I'm going to need to spend several hours a week over the next 2 weeks to get that project accomplished. Time management is critical for our business. Time management is critical for our personal life as well. So I challenge you, take a look at the urgent importance matrix. You can find it on the internet, do a little research, figure out how to make it more applicable to your life, to your business situation. And I challenge you to, again, keep writing those goals down and focus on highly important, low urgent activities. I'm Chris Murdoch. If you like what you see, click on the links off to the side, find out how we're doing Cindy and I are doing business, where we're allocating our time, what we've made highly important to us. Thanks, and y'all have a great day.